Hello and welcome to video number 37. This is me learning how to use the AKAI MPC Live III and passing on to you all my tips and tricks as I do so. So this video is a kind of part 2 to the one I made the other day about the mixer, the submixes, the insert effects and the send effects. Just a couple of things before we start. I was thinking yesterday about the signal flow of the Live III. So here's a diagram I made about the signal flow in case you weren't too clear about how things work. So let's say you've got a track, we've got one here, main drum beat. It has 4 insert effects, which are here. We've got 2 active and 1 dormant and 1 empty one there. And then we can send this track out to the 4 send effects. In this project I've just got 2 of them. I've got a reverb and a delay. So that's the track. Now I can either send that to a bus or a submix as it's called on the Live III, which is what I'm doing here. If I go to the ins and outs, the output is this drums bus here, this drums submix, and the submix in turn can have 4 insert effects and can be sent out to the send effects, and then in turn that gets sent out to the outputs. Now if you don't want to go via a submix with your track, then over here in the audio out you change that to outputs 1 and 2, or whatever your main outs are, and then this track will go straight out to the outputs. The outputs have insert effects, 4 of them. Obviously there are no send effects on this because this is the end of the line, if you will. So the track has got 4 insert effects, 4 send effects. That can either go straight out to the outputs or first of all to a submix and then to the outputs. Now obviously if you've got a drum kit like this is here and we go into the pads mode here, then obviously each pad can have 4 insert effects and can be sent out to the send effects even before it becomes part of the main track. So if it's a drum track, you've got all those extra stages at the beginning of it. 4 insert effects per pad, 4 send effects per pad, and then of course you've got the main instrument itself, which has got the 4 insert effects and the 4 send effects, and then of course that can be sent out to a submix. We're using drums bus for this. So I thought that was quite interesting, and I think it helps to get your head around that signal flow when you're trying to mix things. And by the way, of course, if you come to a key groups track like this one here, in the pad mode here, you can see as I press each note, different key groups come up. Obviously you can have several pads within one key group, like here, this is key group 3, this is key group 3, key group 4. So those 2 pads are the same key group, but those 2 pads could have their own insert effects. You can send out to the send effects from that key group, so it'd be those 2 pads would have the same amount of signals sent to the send effects. And then of course if you come into the main mode here, the whole instrument has got, again like the drums, 4 insert effects and 4 send effects that you can send out to. And then again, of course, this synth brass, its output is the synths submix, which in itself has got 4 insert effects and 4 send effects possibly. It's up to you what you put on there. So that is your signal flow on the Live III. One thing that is quite awkward in the mixer is getting from one side of it to the other. So if you're on the tracks here, if you want to come over to the sub mixes or you want to come over to the outputs, where do you put your finger to do that? And I found the best way is to go top right hand corner and drag positively over, and then again, and if you look, it kind of snaps. See? So it snaps to the nearest one. So if I come over here, if you want to move from left to right, put your finger in the top right hand track header and move over that way. And if you want to move from right to left, then go to the top left hand corner and move positively, press down, push over, press down, push over, and it snaps. See? So that's a bit of a weird one. I thought there might be something where you could use the encoders, but I haven't found that yet. I want to talk about this word buses because I got myself in a bit of a mess, didn't I, in my last video. these are the 8 submixes available for this sequence, and I've used 5 of them. Drums, piano, bass, guitar, synths, 6, 7 and 8 are unused. And we said, didn't we, that these are great for grouping tracks together, so you can turn the volume up and down of one group of tracks. So all the drums are in this, all 3 pianos are in this submix, the 2 basses are here, the 2 acoustic guitars are here, that kind of thing. But the word that messed me up was submix. Now, on the Live 3, these are called submixes, but you and I know them as buses. That's why I called them buses so many times in the last video. So sorry if I confused you there. But I will show you this. On the arrange page, do you see here? It shows buses there. Now, I was on the mixer, wasn't I? I'm on the submixes here. So if I go to the arrange page, and immediately buses come up here. Go back to the mixer. If I come back to the normal tracks here, now if I go to the arrange page, I'm on the normal tracks. So they call the submixes buses, don't they? As well as submixes. So it's a bit confusing. Let's show you that again. So back to the mixer. So these are the submixes, the buses if you will. Go to the arrange page and they are shown as buses here, see? So I think buses or submixes, both fine. I prefer buses. I know where I am with that because I've always called them that in Reason, which is my DAW of choice on my Mac. Now on the mixer page, on the effects, I put a little note on my video. I put some text on my video to show you this, but I know it's very hard reading a block of text in a video, even though I suggested that you pause the video to read it. So I want to talk about these boxes marked inserts on this mixer page. Let's go back to just the standard tracks, just to show you where we are. We're in the channel mixer, the effects page, and you can see the possible 4 insert effects for each of these tracks. Some don't have any insert effects at all. So just to be clear, this main drum beat, track number 1, has got 3 insert effects, one of which is turned off. But there's a box above this marked inserts. So what is this for? And you'll find this in the channel mixer, and you'll also find it in the pad mixer. See here. Let's go back to the channel mixer. Now there's 2 kinds of pressing on this, short press and long press. If I short press this, it brings up that page that you've seen before where you can do all kinds of things to the 4 possible insert effects. You can trash them with the dustbin here, the trash bin here. You can turn them on and off, like that. And there is an all on, all off button, which I didn't show you up here. So if I press that, they're all off, press it again, they're all on. Other things I didn't show you on this page, there's a couple of folders and a disk icon. The AKAI folder here takes you to all the factory effects racks. So if I go to experimental and choose filter gate, so now you can see I've got a brand new rack of effects, was 3 out of 4 anyway, on this main drum beat. I don't want this, so I'm going to undo that. Go back to the original. But that's what the AKAI folder is for. It's got loads and loads of complete racks of effects specific to various audio types, so obviously voice, guitar, bass, that kind of thing. This folder here, which has got I think it's meant to be me, it's the kind of user folder. Here you can load any effects racks that you've made, and this disk icon here, if I press it, this is for saving your own effects racks. So if you've got a block of 4 effects and you've made changes to them, you want to save that as a nice kind of combination, this is where you do it. So you might ask, where do I save a patch? So if I've got an effect like this Flavor Pro and I do something here and I want to save it, where do I save it? Well, obviously up here there's the disk icon. Here you would save that particular preset for that particular effect, yeah, Flavor Pro. So I'm on the channel mixer, short press brings that up. Let's come back. Now if you do a long press on this inserts rectangle like this, you bring this power button up. What that's done is turned all those insert effects off. So now all the effects are turned off. If I long press this power button, they will come back on. Let's long press this again, or I could long press the inserts box itself to bring them all back. So this was something I didn't show you in my previous video. I put some text up, but I think it's much better to show you on the screen. Now, we can't talk about mixing without talking about the track select button and the touch strip. So if I press set, I've already done this. I've pressed button number 9, which is track select. That means to say, if I go into the main page here, pressing these buttons on the top will pull up the various tracks. So track 4, track 5, track 6, track 7, 8, 9, 10. You get the idea. In the last video I was saying, oh, I'm not quite sure, how do I get back to a track really quickly? But obviously here it's instant. If I want track 2, I press track 2 and there it is, 808 percussion. So that track select button, really useful. So it's hold set and it's button 9. Well, I've got 13 tracks, but obviously if I had more tracks, I'd go up to 16 and then beyond into the next page. And of course, I spoke about this double arrow thing here. Let's go to the first track using that button. So what's on the left is actually in focus on the machine. That's what you're dealing with. And the output of that, the immediate output of that, is to the right. We know this main drum beat is being fed into this drums submix. I'm on ins and outs with this main drum beat. So if I press that, you can see it says drums. If I were to change that to something like outputs 1 and 2, now you can see outputs 1 and 2 has appeared over here. We'll bring it back to the drums bus. So it's the main drum beat that's over here. Now I showed you this in my last video. If I press this double arrow thing, I think that's what this is, the drums are going to move over to the left. So this drums submix, this drums bus is now in focus, it's here, and the output for the drums submix is now showing here. So we've lost the view of our main track. If I want to get that back quickly, I just press number 1 up here, and there's our track again, there's our drums submix, and the output is showing on that down here. So I'll show you that once more. I can press this double arrow, drums are now in focus, and that's the outputs of the drums. Drums are here. If we want to go back to the first view, press number 1 and we've got the main drum beat on the left. That's great, isn't it? Now, I want to talk a bit about the touch strip. I have used this touch strip in previous videos. If I press and hold this touch strip button and I choose track level, now with this set up, any track I'm on, the touch strip will control the volume. So I'm on the main drum beat. There it is, going up and down. So if I press track 7, which is the electric piano, I can change the volume quickly with the touch strip on the electric piano. Let's go to another track, track 13, it's the synth brass. And again, see, isn't that great? So you can quickly get to the volume control and change it rapidly. Otherwise you've got to highlight it, you've got to turn the data dial, or you've got to drag your finger up and down. It's much easier just to press the track button up here and just move your finger up and down the touch strip. Fantastic though, isn't it? So I'm going to run through this and do a quick bit of mixing to show you how easy it is to do. So I'm mixing the buses now. Obviously you can't bring the submixes, the buses up with these buttons, only the tracks. So if I press 1, we're back to our start. And of course I can do the same thing with the pads in a drum kit. So I'm on a drum kit here. Now I don't need to bring the pads up in the view, but I will just to help me demonstrate this. So I'm in the pad view here in this strip. Now, how do I do this? Well, I can press touch strip and bring this to pad level. Now I can change the various pads. as I press each pad, I change the value of the volume. Let's run the track. Bring the kick drum up, down, go to the snare, bring it down, bring it up, hi-hat, now if I want to silently choose a pad, I hold the set button down. So notice I'm pressing the pad there, but you're not hearing it because I'm holding set. Whereas if I do this, you can hear it. So I hold set, press the pad, that chooses it silently, and now I can use the touch strip to turn it down. In this case it's the snare, going up and down. Now if I go to the pad mixer, which is here, you can see what I'm doing here. If I go to the volume here, kick drum, do the snare silently, hold set, so that's all part of mixing, but using the touch strip rather than going in here, highlighting, selecting a pad and then cranking up and down with the data dial or with your finger. So much quicker with the touch strip. One final thing I want to show you here, also with the touch strip, is the changing of parameters in synths. Let's press track 10, which is 106 bass. I'm going to go to the reduce view. I'm going to press this circle here that's got the little picture of the actual synth. So I'm in the synth now. My Q-Link encoders here are set to change things. If I go to the filter page and I turn this top encoder, you'll see the cutoff frequency is changing. But of course, if I want to move it up, I've got to turn that dial quite a long way. If I hold the touch strip button and I choose Q-Link, now whatever I turn last over here will be picked up by the touch strip. So I'm turning the cutoff frequency with this encoder. You can see over here already it's moving that, isn't it? So now I can move that cutoff frequency really quickly. So there I am, changing the cutoff frequency. Now if I play the pads to make this synth-based sound, you can see with the touch strip I can change that cutoff really quickly. Let's do the same thing with the resonance. So it's the second encoder down. How do I know that? I just touch that and it shows me that it's VCF resonance, rather small. I can press and hold the Q-Link button and it shows me top to bottom, although it's turned on its side, cutoff, resonance, saturation, drive. Let go of that. So now I'm turning the resonance. Now the touch strip will change the resonance. Or saturation. Or drive. So whatever you use last with the Q-Link encoders is picked up by the touch strip. Of course you can move it quickly, can't you? Cut off down. So I can do the cut off with the touch strip and I can do the drive with my finger, both at the same time. Or I could do the saturation with the data dial, the cut off with the touch strip. Pretty good, isn't it? And it's a quick way of changing things. These encoders take quite a lot of turning. Gradually all the pieces of the jigsaw are slowly coming together. So if I look back on my first few videos, obviously my knowledge base was quite small, so I was missing things, but that's the joy of learning something. As the days go by you pick up more and more things, you have more eureka moments and you think, oh yes, of course it does that. So that is the end of today's video. If you got something from it, please give it a like and consider subscribing to my channel. If you'd like to give me some encouragement for all the work I do on YouTube, please please make a small donation. You can do that here on YouTube or via my website, which is www.daddylonglegs.com. You can do it using PayPal, so it's really easy to do. Just a couple of pounds is really great and very gratefully received. Thank you very much for watching today, and you'll hear from me very soon, I'm sure. Bye for now.